How to create a study guide for the Educating All Students exam. Why create a study guide? Because there are a limited amount of materials published for the new teacher certification exams, creating a study guide allows you to build foundational knowledge and address any content gaps. Some core members may have a limited background in education, and some may have extensive experience. No matter where you are in that spectrum, a study guide creates a personalized approach to evaluating what you already know and what you need to learn in order to be successful on the EAS. This exam tests you on subjects with considerable depth and breadth. Although creating a study guide will require heavy lifting on your part, this video will guide you and provide helpful tips. Here are a list of acronyms that will be used frequently throughout the New York State Teacher Certification Exam Prep Series for your reference. NYS-TCE, New York State Teacher Certification Exam. EAS, Educating All Students Test. ALST, Academic Literacy Skills Test. And the DOE, New York Department of Education. For the first two parts of this video, we will briefly go over the EAS test design and scoring. Then we will get into creating a document to use as a study guide. There are a total of 47 questions, 42 selected response, which are multiple choice questions, and 3 constructed response questions, which are open-ended writing questions. The selected response items count for 70% of the total test score, while the constructed response items count for 30% of the total test score. Although each competency is equally important, the content emphasis is based on competencies 1 through 3, diverse student populations, English language learners, and students with disabilities and other special learning needs. I would focus on these areas which cover the majority of the exam. You have 135 minutes to complete the entire exam. You are free to set your own pace, which is great since it gives you flexibility. But make sure you monitor your time and allot an appropriate amount of time per question. You will receive a 30-minute warning before the end of the exam. Here are the suggested times by the DOE. Spend about 30 minutes on the constructed response. Since there are 3 constructed response questions, each question will take about 10 minutes. That leaves about 105 minutes for the selected response items, which breaks down to about 2.5 minutes to answer each question. Here's a test tip. Although you have 2.5 minutes per question, this time does not include time to read lengthy passages. Also, many of the questions are scenario-based, which require you to analyze and synthesize information. Be mindful of this throughout the exam. Scoring. You can receive a scaled score ranging from 400 to 600 points. You must have a minimum scaled score of 520 to pass. You will not receive itemized or detailed feedback on your performance. You will only receive a general score, so it's important to self-monitor and be mindful of your areas of strengths and struggles while studying and taking exams. Also, in 2014, approximately 5% of core members did not pass one or more of the New York State Teacher Certification Exam, so invest time to adequately study for these exams. We suggest a minimum of 15 to 30 hours of preparation per exam. Each exam has a framework created by the DOE that outlines the topics that will be covered on each exam. You can find all frameworks on the NYS-TCE website or through TFAnet. If you haven't checked out TFAnet, I highly encourage you to do so, as it will serve as a hub for certification resources amongst a variety of crucial information for your onboarding experience. The links can be found on the weekly Core Member Digest, but this PowerPoint will be uploaded on TFAnet so you can access all links. Before you begin creating a study guide, skim the frameworks to get a general idea of the competencies and the exam as a whole. The frameworks can present a good amount of information, which might be very new to you. Getting a general handle of what the frameworks are about will make it more understandable and for some less intimidating. A lot of core members say that they don't even know where to begin when studying for the EAS, and that's totally understandable. Skimming the framework is just the first step to breaking it down. Here are the steps to creating a study guide for the EAS. Step 1. Summarize the performance indicators in your own words. Step 2. Underline or highlight any unfamiliar terms or concepts. Step 3. Find resources for these terms or concepts. And step 4. Take notes on key concepts and key terms. Here's a sample study guide I created on a Word document using steps 1 through 5. On the left column, I list the performance indicators, and on the right column, I include a brief summary, resources, and notes. Step 1. Summarize the performance indicator in your own words. Let's look at Competency 1, Indicator C. Applies knowledge of research or evidence-based strategies, including utilizing universal design principles, for teaching and working effectively and inclusively with all students. For example, students from all cultures and backgrounds, students of different genders and sexual orientations, students from homes where English is not the primary language, or where a variant form of English is used. I summarize this performance indicator as: teacher utilizes universal design principles to work effectively and inclusively with all students. Stating something in my own words helped me retain that information. The language of the performance indicators can be very academic, so summarizing helps me digest the information and make it more manageable. Some may choose to skip this step, and that's totally okay. Use the methods that best suit your needs. Step 2. Underline or highlight any unfamiliar terms or concepts. Underlining or highlighting the key terms or ideas in the performance indicators help me target what resources I need to find. Step 3. Find resources for these terms or concepts. Under my resources, I've added a link to my study guide so that just in case I want to revisit the article, it's easy to access. This step requires the most heavy lifting on your part. Finding resources online that is research and evidence-based can be time-consuming. Many resources come in the form of articles or academic research. For this step, I highly recommend teaming up with other core members to divide and to conquer this task. Step 4. Take notes on key concepts and key terms. After I find my resources, I'll jot down my key takeaways and key terms. Key terms. Whether you're making a running list of key terms on your study guide or making flashcards, it's important to know the specific terminologies for each competency. Any word or concept you are not familiar with, whether it's found in the sample questions, practice exams, framework, or within a resource, you should look it up and add it to your growing list. Remember, you are not alone in this endeavor, and we encourage you to find resources already out there. Become a member of the New York Test Prep community on TFAnet. You can find practice exams, study guides, sample questions, and other resources. We also have forums where core members can share resources, tips, and their own test-taking experiences. Also, check out the 2015 TFA New York Core Facebook page, where core members have already started sharing study guides, resources, experiences, and more. Don't forget to check out the resources provided by the New York City Department of Education, an excellent resource on Competency 3, Students with Disabilities and Other Special Learning Needs, and information about English language learners. Although making a study guide will give you the background information you need, knowing isolated facts alone will not adequately prepare you for the exam. Make use of the sample questions provided by the NYS TCE website and take the EAS practice exam to get an idea of what the exam will be like. Remember, know the EAS test design so you feel ready and prepared to take the exam. Know how your scores break down so you know what competencies to focus on. Create a study guide. Know the key terms for each competency. And finally, take advantage of the sample questions. Thank you for joining me on how to create a study guide for the EAS. Passing the certification exams will be the first step to ensuring that one day all children in this nation will have the opportunity to attain an excellent education.